this game is already super up in flames, with massive VTubers like Ironmouse or Shiley dropping their sponsorship midstream.
What the fuck, bro? They said we do not have AI in any...
It is called Neverless to Everless, and it's a brand new open world gacha game, and it got caught using AI generated asset on a billboard in the subway. Now, as a fanboy software engineer VTubers who actually set up AI infrastructure at my day-to-day work, I think most people are super misinformed about AI, and if you have 5 minutes of your time today, I would love to clear a lot of these misconceptions up. So here's where everything got started, where Neverless to Everless get caught using generated AI content material in some of their in-game arts asset like this billboard. Now, Neverless to Everless have then issued a statement saying like, hey, AI were used on a small number of background and environmental assets, but the core character and story that define this game are fully made by human with no AI involved, right? And this have the internet really divided. A lot of people are like, hey, every game uses AI today anyway, as long as it's not used on the core stuff, then it's fine. It's still a really fun game. While other people are like, no, I would not support any game that has AI in it. Now, to be 100% transparent, and this is the main reason why I want to make this video clear today, moving forward on, every industry, gaming industry included, will aggressively use AI in their development process, or maybe in the final product as well. Every single gacha game now uses AI in assisting their development for sure, without a doubt. Hoyoverse, which is one of the most popular gacha game developers, are aggressively hiring AI engineer across all their game, from Honkai Star Rails, Genshin Impact, or Sandstorm Zeros, and they're hiring AI engineers or AI generated content engineers. Now here's the biggest misconception about AI that people have. People think AI is this magic button that do everything for you. They think, hey AI, generate me a fun game, generate me a fun characters, and they think that's it. No, that's fully wrong. AI is a tool and it should be treated like a tool and nothing more than that. If you're trying to dig a hole, yeah, you can use your hand to dig it and it'll take you a long time to scoop out every single dirt in the hole. Or you can go ahead and go grab a shovel to help you dig it. And in this case, AI is like a tool that helps you. It is the shovel you need to go and dig a hole. It makes things easier, it makes things faster, but it doesn't dig the hole for you. Hoyoverse in the gaming industry, or Google, Tesla and stuff like that, are still aggressively hiring engineers, because at the end of the day, you will still need an operator to work with the AI. You still need an engineer to work with the AI to actually get things done. And I know this for a fact because I am an engineer who uses AI. In the same way, on a farm, the tractor replaces the horse and make everything easier. But guess what? The tractor doesn't magically run itself. You still need someone. You still need a person who know how to drive the tractors and work with the tractor to actually water your crop and stuff like that for you. 50 years ago, we have AI in the form of enemies in the game, where they make a very simple decision like, hey, if there's a player nearby, attack him. And if there's not, well, let's just idle an AFK. This here in itself is a form of AI, which is artificial intelligence. It just makes very basic decision. The technologies as well as computing power has evolved so much that we're now able to make extremely complex decisions, which is the AI people refer to it nowadays. Their proper name is actually called LLM very often, which are large language models. They are a model that lets you make very complicated decisions in a lot of different ways very fast, and that's what they all actually are. When people talk about AI nowadays, most of the time they're referring to LLM, which again is actually a language models. They work by basically predicting what is most likely the next word is going to be in your sentences. For example, the sun is very something. And let's say I want you to guess what this word might be. The model would go ahead and say like, hey, I see the word sun, I see the word very. There's a very high chance the word here is something like the sun is very hot, right? And so that's how it actually works. It just go and see the word you have given to it, and then it made a model and predict what the next word will be. The reason why I like to call AI being a translator tool is because it only works if you're able to give it the proper context. If I don't give it the word sun or berry, it will never be able to guess that this word is hot right here. In that sense, AI is like a translator. It is trying to translate this sentence here into a full sentence. And I like to call this garbage in, garbage out. If you give AI a garbage prompt, if you give something garbage to the AI, you'll always get garbage back. If you tell it, generate me a billboard, generate me fun characters, you'll never be able to get good results. It will always be garbage back. AI art or generative art is the exact same format, but instead of using text, it uses pixels, colors, shape, and stuff like that. So if you have something like this where it's like red square, black square, red square, black squares, and AI might go like, okay, the next one is probably a red squares, right? And then the next one is probably a black square and stuff like that. This is the reason why AI have so much consistency problem, because the AI doesn't look at the full pictures. The AI simply look at the pixels. It go like, oh, there's a very high chance the next pixel is black, so I'm gonna put a black pixel here. This is the results of why you often see AI having like 5 fingers, or is why it's really bad at doing text. It's because the AI doesn't ever look at the full picture and be like, oh, this character has 5 fingers already, I shouldn't draw another fingers. The AI just go like, oh, pixels, pixels, blue pixels, oh, it's a green pixels here. Now, I think this is the true biggest problem about AI art that people don't talk about because they don't understand the technologies. And that is, AI doesn't have the emotion of an artist. It doesn't think about, hey, I want to use red colors because I'm trying to convey a angry emotion. I want to make a character that really strong, and I want to represent this character in the design and in the colors doing it. It doesn't do any of that. It simply go, oh, black pixel, red pixels. Given my formulas, the next pixel should be black. And I think that's what truly art is about. Art isn't just about the final results. It isn't just about the pictures you get at the very end. Because I promise you, in the near futures, AI will get very good at making really pretty art. But sometimes, art is about the process going from A to B. You research about a topic you want to draw about. Maybe it is about the Starry Night. Maybe it's about a trip you made. There is some attachment, emotion behind it. Things that you want to convey to your audience. And you put all of these into your art and you create this actual final results. That's what truly art is. And this is the reason why people say AI art is soulless, because it literally don't have a soul. To me, the soul of the artist is all of these things that they put into it, not just the final result. So here's one way gaming industry might use AI to do character design and stuff like that, even if the final product might not contain AI, right? And again, it just all really comes down to the A to B. A character designers might start from point A and be like, hey, I want to make a Chinese character that really represent and capture the Chinese culture. They will go ahead and do a lot of researching about China, researching how like the color red is really good. But they may also get the assistance of the AI to help them go from A to B. They might go like, hey, I have this character that I kind of design with like a red dress, with a stuff like that. But they look at the AI and they said, I'm not sure what weapon I should give this character. Should it be a bow because bow is really significant in China? Or should it be a spear because Chinese martial art loves spears? Can you help me generate and visualize what these two characters will look like so that I can distinguish between them and make a better decision? That is one way of using AI as a tool in your A to B when it comes down to your character design. In this case, the AI doesn't make the decision for you, but the AI help you make your. And I love doing this exercise with a lot of people, which is what I like to call the AI decision test. Did you properly think about, and can you explain to me the decision you have made when it comes down to making your products or your characters? Like, why did you put a spear here instead of a bow? Because if all you did is go to an AI and say like, hey, I want a Chinese character, generate me one, you never understand the decision that the AI has made because you never put your thought process behind it. And if ever there's an aspect about your characters that you cannot explain because it is done by AI and your explanation is, I don't know, and it's done by the AI, then that tell me that you didn't actually do your A to B process properly and you just try to skip the B. right? A proper usage of AI being a tool, and this is how the gaming industry actually uses, is that they will use AI to help them make the decision. But at the end of the day, the person who designed these characters should be able to tell me the decision they have made put into the character design themselves. And this is why Nevertheless the Everless or many other game is moving forward on with saying like, hey, characters and core stories will never be AI generated. Because the only way you get a good product, the only way you get a good character that's well designed is to have someone actually go and design it and make the decision to design it. But here's the thing, it's not always A to B for everyone, for every object, and for stuff like that. Sometimes, especially in a developer's perspective, they actually just want B. And this is the main case for minor materials, things that people consider minor, like environmental, background, and stuff like that. So, for example, if all you're trying to do is paint a wall in the game, you don't really put emotion behind it. You don't really care, oh, I'm gonna make it very Chinese with a lot of lantern. You just like, just make me a nice wall that doesn't look like shit. And that's what they use its AI for in the development process. It's used to speed up on these things that doesn't really need to be thought about, just need to get done. In the same way, you try to dig a hole, you just use a shovel. When it comes down to game development, there's a lot of constraint with the management. Time, budget, and stuff like that. Sometimes the decision isn't about how I can make this cutscene as bad as possible. Sometimes the decision they might be facing is this TV can either not exist, or they can AI generate a cutscene that kind of work and spice up the part a little bit, because the cutscene is not a core part of the game. It is not going to be a memorable experience for people. It is just here to fill the space. In this case, they might not actually care that the shovel dig a really nice hole. All they care about is that there is a hole. And this is the true reality of using AI in the industries. No matter how you look at it, if you're trying to dig a hole, using a shovel is always going to be faster and easier than using it by hand. And so every company would prefer to use the tool that they're given, which is the shovel. But the thing is that this will allow them to allocate the time, the money, and the budget to other things that might actually matter to some people a lot more, which are places like character design, gameplay design, boss design, that are not replaceable by AI, because an AI is not capable of fully doing the A to B process by itself. You will always need a human to make the decision here to make a good product. And you can actually argue that AI helped them save money and time on things that most people don't care about, and therefore allocate time on things that people will actually care about, that are not replaceable by AI. Depending on who you talk to, depending on who your audience, depending on what you're trying to achieve, your A to B is always going to be very different from someone else. It might be trying to make a document, it might be trying to make an art, it might be trying to make a book. For some people, like an artist, their A to B is defining their art, researching the art, the emotion they want to convey, and they want to use the A to B process. For someone else who don't care about that, they just want to get to the B. Right? And this is why I disagree with people when they say like, oh, AI art is not fine, but AI generated document or dialogue is fine.
NPC generated AI dialogue and whatnot, whatever, you know.
Because the technology behind it is the exact same. It just depends on who you are and who you talk to. Your A to B might just be different than someone else. Using this clip and this example, and no flame by the way, you can see that this person's value their A to B differently than others. And this is why the community is so divided, because they all have their own valid answers. This person here valued the A to B process for art. They care to see the decision made behind the art. They care to see the emotion put behind the art. They don't want to see an AI just skip over all these processes and get to B. But at the same time, they might not say the same thing about a document or dialogues. They might say that, hey, the A to B process for a document, for dialogue, doesn't really matter to me. So they're fine with using AI to skip over majority of the hurdle. This is the main reason why some people are totally fine with AI art, because to them, an art is the finished product, not the process. But for artists, the art is the A to B process, not the finished product. And basically every company starting from now on, including Nevertheless to Everless, is just going to evaluate what is their more important A to B. For Nevertheless to Everless, they might value that the A to B for these like subway, for the billboard, for the cutscenes are not so important, and so they rather just skip the B. And this allowed them to free up more time, more process on the A to B that actually matters, which are gameplay, characters, design, and stuff like that. And this is where they want their core audience to be. They want the people who enjoy this A to B to have a lot more fun, and they value this a lot over than the A to B here for the walls and stuff. And so they decide to just, I guess in a way, like cheap out and use AI for their billboard. One can argue this is a shitty decision that they put less effort into certain part of the area, but others would say that, hey, I actually really care about the gameplay, and them having more effort to put into the gameplay actually make the game a lot more better for me, right? It just really depends on how you use the tool, and if the tool is used properly. For what it's worth, by the way, China has like an 85% approval rate of AI, which means everyone in China really enjoy and appreciate the usage of AI. And so the gaming industry, or every industry and the entire internet, is just gonna trend to this way. It's just the acceptable A to B for use. And that's all it really is. Thank you for watching. I'm tenten VT. I like to talk about finance, technology, and stuff like that, like credit cards. So if you would like me to cover certain aspect about technologies, maybe more about AI, maybe what credit card should you open, leave a comment below, subscribe, and goodbye.